Am I the a-hole for not wanting to go to my friend's wedding? In the heart of Willow Creek, a neighborhood once known for its tree-lined streets and tight-knit community, there stood a tyrant named Gerald Pickens. As president of the Ironclad Homeowners Association, Gerald took to his role with the zeal of a medieval king. Rules were his commandments, and fines were his sword. It started innocently enough, a few warnings for untrimmed hedges, a ticket here and there for trash bins left out overnight. But soon, Gerald became drunk with power. Every week brought a new decree. Fences could only be painted in shades approved by Gerald personally. Mailboxes had to be precisely 42 inches tall. Lawns were to be cut at a uniform height of 3 inches, with a $200 fine for every quarter-inch deviation. His clipboard became a symbol of fear. Neighbors whispered in hushed tones about the time he fined the Johnsons $500 because their garden gnome had a chipped hat. With every fine, the H.O.A. coffers swelled, and Gerald's ego grew alongside it. He strutted through the neighborhood like a peacock in a tailored polo, boasting of the perfection he had brought to Willow Creek. But perfection came at a price. Families began moving away, tired of living under Gerald's oppressive gaze. The community that once gathered for barbecues and block parties now kept their curtains drawn and their voices low. Yet Gerald saw none of it. To him, the neighborhood had never looked better. It all unraveled on the 4th of July. Determined to maintain order during the neighborhood's annual Independence Day celebration, Gerald implemented a series of outrageous restrictions. No sparklers after 8 p.m., no flags larger than 2 by 3 feet, and no fireworks at all. He patrolled the event with his ever-present clipboard, scolding children for running too fast and fining the Thompsons $300 for grilling with charcoal instead of propane. The final straw came when he attempted to shut down the event entirely due to an unauthorized inflatable bounce house. As he barked orders and wrote fines with furious abandon, the crowd began to turn. Neighbors who had once cowered now stood tall. The Thompsons refused to pay. The Johnsons ripped up their violation notices. A chant began to rise. "Enough is enough!" Flustered and red-faced, Gerald tried to regain control. He threatened lawsuits and increased fines, but the people of Willow Creek had had their fill. They filed a petition, gathered the required signatures, and called for an emergency vote. Within a week, the H.O.A. board convened. Gerald sat at the head of the table, clutching his clipboard like a lifeline. But the votes were counted, and the decision was clear. By unanimous decision, the board voted to disband the Ironclad HOA. In the end, Gerald's greatest downfall was not the bounce house or the charcoal grill. It was his own insatiable need for control. As the neighborhood celebrated its newfound freedom with a block party that stretched long into the night, Gerald sat on his porch, clipboard discarded, watching the community he once ruled come back to life. Willow Creek had finally found its voice, and this time, there was no one to find them for it.